each of us see the world differently. And if we think about it for a minute, it'll make perfect sense. Every family, including our own, has generation after generation of cultural influence, faith preference, and belief system that has been passed down to help form the values that we hold today. And it even gets more specific than this. Inside individual families that come from the same culture, faith, and belief systems, there are still differences in how individuals in that family see the world. Inside my own family, I have 4 children that were all raised in the same family structure with similar cultural influences and the similar belief systems, and yet they all see the world differently. No matter how closely tied we think we are to a particular group, we still have different genetic makeups, we still have different personality types, we still have different views of the world, and we still have different thoughts about how things should be done. And even though this can all make sense to us, our default position is still to fall back and tend to think that our own way is the right way for everyone. And maybe it's time for us to stop and ask ourselves this question: why do we have the need for our way to be the right way for everyone? I think there are a few key elements at work here, and one of these elements is our desire to be right. And this desire to be right is tied specifically into our ego. Ego is defined as a person's sense of self-esteem or their sense of self-importance. So here's the problem with ego. You notice that the definition doesn't say it's the reality of one's importance. It says it's our sense of our own importance or our perception of our own importance. So when it comes to ego, no wonder we have a need for our way to be the right way for everyone, because that makes us feel more important. Not that it actually does make us more important, it just makes us feel more important. Knowing this, we could really do well to keep our ego in check, understanding that what really makes us important is our positive contribution to the world. Maybe our positive contribution that helps us create more peace and love in the world. Another key element in this is fear. Unfortunately, many of us have a fear of what we don't know or what we don't understand. So if all we know or understand is our own view of the world, it's definitely going to have a need for us to be right, because we don't understand other ways. We don't understand other thoughts, and that creates fear for us. So one way for us to help with this is to get to know other cultures, to get to know other faiths, to get to know other belief systems. If we can do this, it will help minimize our fear due to the lack of knowledge or lack of understanding we have for that, and it will help us on our journey where our way doesn't have to be the right way for everyone. Probably the last key element has 2 components to it: comfort and change. You know, we love to stay in our comfort zone, and the older we get, the more we like to stay inside it. And change goes hand in hand with comfort. Change is hard for us, primarily because it takes us out of our comfort zone. We really need to take a minute and think about this. The changes that have happened in our life, every time we've gone through change, it has created a new opportunity for us, something new for us to embark on in our life. If we simply stay inside our own comfort zone and resist change, we will create an environment much like the movie Groundhog Day, where we repeat the same activities day after day. But when we embrace change and we get outside our comfort zone, we create the environment for new experiences, for new opportunities, for new relationships, and also for new things to learn. Several years ago, I had to embrace change, and I had to get outside my comfort zone. To do this, I had to overcome my ego and I had to overcome my fears. one of my son-in-laws brought to the family a totally different thought that didn't fit inside our belief system. I have to admit that I didn't start out embracing this change. I asked him if he could send me some information that I could read so that I could gain an understanding of where he was coming from, and then we could sit down and talk about it. Now, I know that sounds good, but initially, I didn't have the right motives. I thought if I could understand where he was coming from and sit down and talk with him, I could sway him over to the belief system that I held. Now, obviously, if we're producing a video called Love Without Labels, that's not what happened. You see, when I started looking at his perspective, and when I started opening my mind to a different type of thought and trying to actually understand this thought that was different than mine, many of those different thoughts actually made sense. So now, when we were talking, instead of trying to sway him back to my belief system, we could actually have a conversation. We could actually have a conversation to try to understand each other. In fact, it helped us to understand each other's different point of view. When we were able to do this, we found that even though we didn't agree with everything the other one was thinking, we were closer than we had originally thought we were. Understanding this principle is a necessity for minimizing bias, labeling less, and loving more. We must be able to have a conversation with people who are different than we are. Not a conversation that will try to convince somebody that our own thoughts are right and theirs are wrong, but a conversation based on trying to understand each other's point of view. When we understand where each other is coming from, then we truly have a basis to enhance peace and love and to minimize division and conflict. We all see the world differently, but our way doesn't have to be the right way for everyone. Let's overcome our ego, let's overcome our fears, let's open our minds, and let's begin to have conversations with those who are different than we are. This will enable us to accept others and to bring more love to the world. Thank you guys for watching today. We hope you liked what you saw. If you have topics you'd like to see covered in future videos, or if you have specific thoughts about this video, please comment below, or you can send us an email and we'd be happy to get back with as many of those as we think possibly we can. You know, I mentioned my 4 kids in the video today. We'll post a link later this week that'll let you get to know all these 4 kids better, so check it out.
Guys, we want to give a huge thank you to our patrons. You guys are incredible.
Thank you guys.
And this is not even something that could be possible without you.
Absolutely.
So that being said, we want to recognize our first 3 patrons today. We want to recognize Bill and Mavis. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We want to recognize Jim and Deb. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And Linda, we want to recognize her as well.
You.
You guys, thank you for jumping on this journey right from the get-go. Pretty crazy that you would do that for us before you've even seen anything from us. You guys are awesome. If you would like to become a patron, just click on the link either here in the video or down in the bio and check out what we have as rewards for our patrons. I think you guys will like it, and we're kind of excited to continue to give you guys additional videos that not everybody else gets to see. So thank you guys, you're awesome.
If you guys would, give the video a thumbs up, like it, and subscribe. And if you're interested in seeing the videos when they first come out, click the notification button and get signed up for that. Thank you guys so much again. He mentioned perks for patrons. This is some of our merchandise. We got new koozies that are really, really cool. New coffee mugs with our saying on it and the logo. And new t-shirts. If you guys are a patron, you guys have access to these. If you're not, you still have access. You just have to go to the website and look under the shop on the website. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you next time.